What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So, y'all, this is just another makeup video, just me doing my makeup. But this time, I'm going to tell y'all about one of my cases that I'm doing right now. So, real quick before I tell y'all, let me tell you how I recorded this whole video about this case. And y'all, when I tell you the audio, just the whole video did not even record. And it said it was recording. So I'm not doing this video over. I'm so over these issues I be having with this camera and everything. But needless to say, I'm just going to give y'all an update on one of my cases while y'all watch me do my makeup. This is my everyday makeup that y'all have seen plenty of times. But I just want to give you an update on my current case that I have in arbitration. I already gave y'all the update on my other case that I have in arbitration that I'm bringing back, but this is the one that has been active against a debt collector. So, y'all, from this company, I had initiated the claim in arbitration for failure to reinvestigate, to conduct a proper reinvestigation. So basically what I did was disputed the account on my credit reports and told them, these items are not accurate. You have to provide the maximum accuracy per the FCRA and FDCPA. And because of that, please conduct a proper reinvestigation. They came back and said everything was verified. I said, oh, okay. So then I come back again with the second letter and said, okay, if everything is verified, then why are these things still haven't been changed? Sometimes they will just remove it, or they will add extra things, but at the end of the day, that's still not accurate because they have to have these items filled in on what is on whatever is supposed to be reporting for the account. So I go back, send a second reinvestigation. Y'all, they literally send me a letter stating, and this letter was in the mail, stating that this is a frivolous request and that they will not be answering it. Now, the reason being is because, according to the FDCPA, if a dispute is frivolous, if the person is, I guess, keep asking for the same thing or is not giving any information as to what is reporting incorrectly, then they don't have to reinvestigate. But the difference between that and what I provided was I gave them screenshots and I circled what was incorrect or what I was challenging, and they still came back and said they wasn't reinvestigating, which counts against them more than it does for me. And so after I did that, I filed I was supposed to file a CFPB complaint and I did not. But because I didn't, I went right into arbitration and filed. And y'all, when I filed the arbitration January of this year, they removed that account February. And the reason being is because it took about a month for the account to get on, for the case to get on the docket. I think the arbitration is a little backed up, but it took them about a month to get that back on the docket. And so with that being said, once it got on the docket and they were notified, they removed that account. Now, y'all, I don't know about y'all, but me, I know where there's smoke, there's fire. So why all of a sudden would you remove the account if you owned it? If you had all your ducks in a row, if you owned it and you were reporting the correct information. So that says a lot. So now, when we had our first preliminary hearing, which is just like scheduling order of, all the deadlines we were going to have and, set the record straight of what we're looking for and things of that nature. So our first step was to ask for production of documents. So I did that. The first deadline was if you wanted to make any changes or any or if the respondent wanted to do any counterclaims. Y'all, they did not have any counterclaims, because what counterclaims are you going to have against whether or not you investigated properly? Nothing. So because of that, they never submitted anything, but I did resubmit my complaint. Basically, just she wanted more of an explanation of one of the claims, so I just did that one claim over, but everything else was the same. Then our next deadline was to ask for the documents. So I sent mine, they sent theirs. Y'all, they asked for 37 things. They have no counterclaims. Why would you ask for 37 items with no counterclaims? So at that point, I knew they were phishing, and a lot of that stuff I just objected. Most of the stuff that I provided to them was what I already had on hand, which was going to be my exhibits anyway. Everything else, null and void. Y'all, they wanted metadata. Like, what? For what? You're not about to get my whole life, and you're not even asking for anything in return. Like, please. None of this has anything to do with claims so that you're assuming. So I would not give that information. So anyway, then it was actually given the discovery. So this is where it gets juicy, because when I gave them my discovery, it was 2 days before the deadline, y'all. Why they come back with a protective order? Now, mind you, this lady been trying to stall since the first preliminary hearing. She was trying to get this pushed out to October with no counterclaims. This is so crazy to me. But this is how these lawyers like to play games. But at the end of the day, I got all the time in the world. So I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the tactics. And so with that being said, she has submitted a protective order. Protective order is basically a document that just says there's going to be some things that are confidential, and everything should stay within this case in this private matter, rather than anybody being able to use it outside of that. But it was very one-sided, because one of the things in there, she wanted to be able to retain a copy, but she didn't want me to retain a copy. Absolutely not. Like, I'm my own lawyer. I'm pro se, so I'm going to be able to retain a copy. Plus, what I'm going to do with this information outside of here? Like, no. And then she didn't want me to be able to complain to a state or government regulatory. She did not put that, but she didn't want me to be able to use any of this information outside of this arbitration. And I said, well, I'm fine with that as long as state and government regulators do not count. So put that little bit of language in there saying that I can still file the complaint with a government or state regulatory. And she blatantly denied and said they don't agree with that. I said, oh, okay. And then another one was AI. She didn't want me to input the information into AI. And another thing was attorney eyes only. So the attorney eyes only is the only thing that she agreed with. Everything else we had to go back in front of the arbitrator. So to make a long story short, he wound up agreeing with me not being able to use any discovery in a complaint that I filed with the state or government regulatory, but I could still file with the state or government regulatory. And then I can't input anything into, or anything that's confidential into AI. And I was like, okay, that's fine with me. Because at the end of the day, I know how to read. I know how to read and connect dots myself. AI just does it faster. But the reason why she didn't want that to happen was because she doesn't want it to be a place that updates itself or improves itself. And I'm thinking it's because they're getting their butts handed to them from AI. Let's just say that, because these lawyers are liars, and these AIs, they don't have preference. They just, they're it's a robot. So it's not emotional at all. You know what I'm saying? So we were supposed to give the documentation. The whole holdup was the proposed order. The arbitrator wound up giving her 2 weeks. Y'all, she still did not meet that deadline. She gave me all the documents 3 days after that. And then one of the documents that she still missed was a surety bond, which is not confidential. That is public knowledge. She gives me the application that they submitted and not the actual certificate validating that they had the proper credentials. Y'all, when I tell you I'm so over this darn lawyer, like, they know what they doing. But again, the more unreasonable they look, the better you make me look in front of the arbitrator when I go to request certain things. So I just sent them a request back basically stating, can you please provide this information? And if you do not have it, provide a document stating that it is not available. And this thing that I'm asking for points directly to one of my claims on whether or not they could have even been conducting business in my state. So y'all, they have 48 hours. If they do not provide that information by then, come Monday morning, I'm going to have my email already scheduled to be sent and asked for it to be compelled, because now this is the second time that they are holding up a production of documents when they already had a 2-week window that they missed. On top of that, they had a reminder from the arbitrator. On top of that, I had to send them a reminder. So now it's looking like they are the unreasonable ones rather than myself. And y'all, the reason I think they're holding it up is because they don't have it. And if they don't, and I can prove that by the documents that they hand me, when I tell you they are so exposed, it's not even funny. Y'all, it's a no-brainer. So y'all might want to stay tuned for this case. I will have shorts that, explain more as I get more updates. But if y'all like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will definitely see y'all in my next one. Thanks for watching.